Ian Huntley has been declared blind and he is very unlikely to survive. Now, I told you I would keep you all updated as soon as I heard anything or as soon as there was anything online. And a lot of you don't read articles online. You come straight here to Behind Bars TV to find out the nitty gritty and find out what's going on inside the prisons. Now, whichever one of the ones of you, that watched me first video on this absolute wronging, when I told you that I'd gotten some info before it had actually went to the papers, and that source that gave us info on this case did go a bit quiet, and I was thinking to myself, because I kept trying to get some more info to keep you all updated, but it now all makes sense, because they would have been told, the officers or the people that work inside the prison, they would have been told to keep this hush hush. This is going to be a murder case. If you leak any info to the press or to journalists like myself, online journalists, YouTubers or whatever, then you could be in serious trouble, because like I've just said, this is now going to be a murder case. And I do know people as well who work in the hospitals and work in the RVI. I've been in touch with them and asked for some info on this, and tight-lipped straight away, they said, we don't know anything. Yes, we work in the hospital, but it's in a different department, and they've all been told the same. Do not speak about this. They've put the frighteners on them and said, if you leak anything about this, about Huntley, you will be called up to court, and you could receive a summons, or you could receive an arrest warrant for leaking information, and you will be called to be a witness to the murder trial. So as you can imagine, professionals working in prisons or hospitals are going to think, shit, I ain't saying nothing. So that is why I've been unable to find anything further apart from what's online. And I have been sent these articles that came out yesterday, and somebody did send us an anonymous email and said, have a look at this article. Even though it says in the article it's not verified, I'm telling you, this is exactly what's happening. So it's in the Sun newspaper and the Express and a couple of others which I have seen online. And I do know that obviously these papers pay people for the story, so it's obviously been leaked out. Somebody's probably thought there's a little bit dough involved in this, I'm going to leak the info. So Ian Huntley has been declared blind. So when I was trying to find out exactly whereabouts this happened, which workshop, if it was a workshop, if it was waste disposal, if it was a slice, which I thought it was initially, and now it's obviously been an instrument that's been smashed over his head, and it has come out that his head was split in two. The paramedics on the scene thought he was dead. The screws and everybody else who went to his aid thought he was dead, but the paramedics found a pulse, put him in an induced coma, and that's where he's been for the past 9 days, in an induced coma. I've been reading some articles online where the healthcare professionals in the hospital, the doctors, have been trying their utmost and trying their best to keep him alive, not for any reason, that because of who he is. They've been trying to keep him alive because they are professionals. That is their job. They don't treat anybody any different. Even though people would think or would like them to do that, they cannot. Doctors are in that duty to save lives. It doesn't matter who it is. And that is exactly what they're doing. They've tried their hardest, and some of the articles I've read, it does say that it looks as though it'll be switched off. He's blind, so it's saying when he's been battered with a spiked metal pole, maybe his eyes have been spiked as well, or he's been smashed in the face, he's got brain damage, he's blind, and he's not going to make it. His mother has already been called to the hospital. She travelled 170 miles. She went to the papers, or her friend went to the papers and said she doesn't care less about him. She wants him gone. So she'll give the go-ahead to switch off that machine. But obviously the doctors, if they think there's a little bit of a slim chance, then they can't just switch it off. But it's going to be switched off soon, people. And this absolute wrong'un, putting it nicely, it says he is understood to have been declared blind after being struck in the eyes and suffering brain trauma. And we all know he's serving at least 40 years for killing 10-year-olds Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. May them two little angels rest in peace, will never be forgotten, especially on this channel, because I will keep their names alive. I'll not be keeping his name alive. When I do future videos, I will speak about those two innocent 10-year-old girls. And it says, our source said it's now looking like he will not pull through, barring a miracle. Huntley never recovered from the battering and never stood much of a chance of doing so. And he knows what it's like to be on the receiving end and be a victim, because that's what he done to his two innocent victims. And when it says he never stood much of a chance, neither did Holly and Jessica. So when he's been looking up frightened, the last thing he's seen is that metal bar and the spikes going into him. His condition has not really improved since day one, despite the best efforts from doctors. It looks like it's only a matter of time. It could be days, it could be weeks. It is probably for the best. Few people will shed a tear. The double killer has been on a ventilator since the assault at HMP Franklin last Thursday. He was bludgeoned up to 15 times with a pole, with his attacker boasting, I've done it, I've done it, I've killed him, I've killed him. And two wrong'uns, because they're both wrong'uns. I've said this previously on here. More so when the other wrong'un has got either a release date or a tariff expiry date. In the case of Anthony Russell, he's serving life without parole. And he's an absolute wrong'un. People were saying, praise him, or people were praising him, saying, let him out, he's a hero. Anthony Russell is an absolute bacon beast wrong'un. He killed his friend, then his friend's mother, who was hunting for his son when he was missing. Then he went on to kill a 30-year-old, 5-month pregnant woman before raping her, then murdered her. So he is an absolute wrong'un. And prison, a lot of people will be thinking, well, he's in prison. Prison isn't harsh enough for him. So this is where two wrong'uns make a right. One wrong'un is on a ventilator, in a coma, not going to make it. Another wrong'un is now in the block where he'll be for the next 5 to 10 years. So he will suffer even more, which he needs to because of what he done. That poor unborn baby, that baby would have been a toddler now. And I forget what year it was, but the baby would have been a grown human being now. That baby never stood a chance, neither did the mother. So now he's not going to stand much of a chance. He'll be wanting to do all sorts to himself, stuck inside of a block for the next 5 to 10 years. So two wrong'uns make a right, because one is on his way to hell and the other one is living in hell. So that now becomes a right in the righteous eyes, in my eyes, in the viewer's eyes, because Huntley being gone is a right, a tick. Anthony Russell living in hell inside of prison is a tick. Two wrong'uns make a right. So Huntley has not responded to treatment, and doctors are said to be weighing up switching off his ventilator after consulting with his relatives. His daughter said send him to hell, and his mother said be gone, we want rid of him. She wants the nightmare to be over, that's what she said. The medics have worked wonders in keeping him alive for so long to treat every patient the same, but they are monitoring him really closely and he is not responding well or showing signs of recovery. They have been doing brainstem tests and they don't look good for Bacon Huntley. And if by some miracle he does survive, he's likely to be blind and there won't be much of him left. He got hit in the eyes with a pole and has also suffered brain trauma. His head injuries are so bad you would not be able to identify him in hospital. Insiders revealed there was a change in circumstance with Huntley on Tuesday, following not an upwards move, a deterioration in health on his way to hell. So that was when obviously his mother travelled 170 miles from Lincolnshire to be beside his side, and she said that. So she says he was unrecognisable after the savage attack, but she also went on to say, I hope he just goes so this nightmare can be over. And he was jailed with a minimum tariff of 40 years, eligible for parole in 2042, but that year will not be coming round for Mr. Bacon Huntley. He is no more. And if by some miracle he does survive, there'll be nothing there. Nothing there. He will be suffering inwardly. But we'll see. And I will keep you updated like I've promised on this absolute wronging. And whilst I'm flicking through this article, when I done a video the other day about Wayne Couzens, The Sun, The Mirror, all these papers watch my channel, and sometimes they do stories off the back of what I've done. Some of you might have seen on Facebook, I was plastered over every paper in every city in the 4 countries of the UK, Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and obviously England. So in this article that I'm looking at now, underneath the one I've just been reading, says number 1 target, Wayne Couzens petrified of being attacked in jail after Ian Huntley beaten. And this came out the day after I done my video. But when they done that one, when the plastered is all over every paper, because I had done an interview with The Mirror a couple of years back about HMP Franklin, and everyone was sending us them saying you're in the papers, you're all over. It was all over Facebook. It had been seen by hundreds of thousands of people. But they did plug me channel, because I was thinking the Sly Dogs haven't even been in touch to ask me permission or to give us me entitlement like they did when they done the interview 2 years ago. But like I've just said, they plugged me channel, so it's done alright for me channel. But people, if you are still watching up till now, remember, if you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. But go down, double check, because a staggering 65% of viewers are still not subscribed. So go down, double check. It is free to subscribe. Hit the button, hit the notification bell. And if you are enjoying the content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as I've just said. I'm going to leave that one there for now, people. Take care, but most importantly, stay safe.